This plant grows in vacant lots, gardens, and roadsides all across America. Most people pull it out and throw it away without thinking twice. However, here's the surprising part. Nutritionally, it can compete with chicken. And it grows completely on its own. No watering, no fertilizer, nothing. You've probably walked past it 100 times this year. Look, protein is expensive right now. I'm talking $8 for a pack of chicken breasts, and that's if you're lucky. Your tomato plants are dying because you forgot to water them for 3 days, and the lettuce bolted in the heat again. So, here's my question. What if one of the most reliable food plants in America is the one we keep ripping out of the ground and tossing in the trash? Would you want to know about it? Before I tell you what this plant is, let me tell you what it can do. Ancient civilizations grew this on purpose. We're talking thousands of years ago. They knew something we forgot. This thing thrives in soil so poor that nothing else will grow there? Drought. Doesn't care. Heat wave. Actually likes it. You don't need to baby it. You don't need fancy fertilizers, and you definitely don't need to check on it every day like your basil that keeps dying. But here's where it gets interesting. At some point in American history, we went from growing this plant in our gardens to calling it the enemy. We started spraying it, pulling it, doing everything we could to get rid of it. And now most Americans have no idea you can even eat it. Some of you watching right now probably have this growing in your yard, and you've been planning to pull it out this weekend. So, why did we stop eating it? And more importantly, should we start again? There's actually a really good reason it became so hated, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. But first, you need to know what we're even talking about. Alright, here it is. The plant I'm talking about is wild amaranth. You might know it by another name, pigweed. Yeah, I know. Not the most appetizing name, right? That's part of the problem. When you call something pigweed, people aren't exactly lining up to put it on their dinner plate. Let me show you how to spot it because chances are you've seen this everywhere. The leaves are oval-shaped. Sometimes they have a little point at the tip, and they grow in an alternate pattern up the stem. The stem itself can get pretty thick, sometimes as thick as your thumb if the plant is mature. And here's the dead giveaway. Those flower spikes. They shoot up tall, sometimes 6 feet or more, and they're covered in thousands of tiny seeds. The whole thing can look green or sometimes reddish, depending on the variety. If you're looking at your screen right now thinking, wait, that grows behind my garage, you're probably right. This stuff is everywhere. Empty lots in cities, cracks in parking lots, that weird patch of dirt next to the highway, your neighbor's garden that they gave up on in July. Amaranth doesn't need permission to grow. It just does. And here's something interesting. Several different species are all collectively referred to as pigweed. Palmer amaranth, redroot pigweed, smooth pigweed. They're all in the same family, and they're all edible. The leaves, the seeds, all of it. But before you run outside and start harvesting, keep watching because there are some things you need to know first. I'm going to tell you about a safety issue in a few minutes that nobody else is talking about. And it's actually pretty important. Okay, so let's talk about the nutrition because this is where amaranth gets interesting. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is some miracle superfood that cures everything. I hate when people do that. But I am going to give you the actual facts. And you can decide for yourself. The leaves are high in protein for a plant. We're talking about 3 to 4 grams of protein per cooked cup. That's more than most greens. Way more than lettuce, more than spinach, actually pretty close to Kyle. Plus you get vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, iron, all that good stuff. If you're trying to eat more greens, but you're tired of the same old salad, this is a free option that's probably growing within walking distance of your house. Now the seeds are where things get really interesting. Amaranth seeds have a complete amino acid profile. That means they have all 9 essential amino acids your body can't make on its own. Most plant proteins don't have that. Rice doesn't have it, wheat doesn't have it, but amaranth does. It's similar to quinoa in that way, which makes sense because they're related plants. People ask me all the time, can I replace meat with this? And look, I'm gonna be straight with you. Amaranth seeds have about 13 to 14% protein by weight. That's good for a grain. It's comparable to quinoa, but it's not the same as a chicken breast. A chicken breast is about 30% protein. So no, you're not replacing chicken gram for gram. But as part of a balanced diet, as a free protein source, you can harvest from your own yard? Yeah, it's worth knowing about. The Aztecs grew this stuff for centuries. They made it into flour. They popped the seeds like tiny popcorn. They used it in religious ceremonies. And then when the Spanish showed up, they actually banned it. They wanted to break the culture, so they went after the food. That's how important this plant was. So if this plant is so great, why do farmers hate it? Why is it called a weed? Because here's the thing, context matters. From a farmer's point of view, amaranth is a nightmare. It grows fast, really fast. One plant can produce hundreds of thousands of seeds. Those seeds can stay dormant in the soil for years, just waiting for the right conditions. And when they germinate, they come up thick. If you're trying to grow soybeans or corn, and amaranth shows up, it's going to compete for water, nutrients, and sunlight. It can reduce your crop yield big time. Plus, and this is a big one, some species of amaranth have developed resistance to herbicides. Palmer amaranth especially has become a huge problem in the South because it doesn't die when you spray it. Farmers are spending more money on chemicals, and the plant just keeps coming back. So yeah, from their perspective, this is enemy number one. But here's where it gets tricky. Just because something is bad for industrial agriculture doesn't mean it's bad for you as a forager or a home gardener. In your yard, amaranth isn't competing with your cash crop. It's just growing in that empty spot you weren't using anyway. It's all about perspective. Some states have actually put certain amaranth species on noxious weed lists. That sounds scary, but I'm going to explain what that really means in a few minutes, and it's not as bad as it sounds. Spoiler alert, you're not going to jail for picking leaves off a plant in your yard. Alright, let's get practical. You want to know how to actually use this plant. Let's start with the leaves because that's the easiest part. You want to harvest the leaves when they're young and tender. Once the plant gets big and starts flowering, the leaves get tougher and more bitter. So aim for plants that are maybe 6 to 12 inches tall. Just pinch off the top few inches, the newest growth. You can keep harvesting from the same plant as long as it keeps producing new leaves. Now here's the important part, do not eat these raw in large amounts. I'll explain why in the safety section, but for now, just trust me. Cook them! Treat them like spinach. You can saute them with garlic and olive oil, throw them in a stir fry, add them to soup, blend them into a smoothie after blanching. They have a mild, slightly earthy flavor. Some people say they taste like a mix between spinach and chard. The seeds are a little more work, but they're worth it. You harvest them when the seed heads are fully developed and starting to dry out. Usually late summer or early fall, depending on where you are. Cut the whole seed head off and put it in a paper bag. Let it dry for a week or two, then you just shake the bag and the seeds fall right out. Cleaning the seeds is the annoying part. You have to separate them from all the chaff, the little bits of plant material. The old school way is to pour them back and forth between two bowls outside and let the wind blow away the light stuff. Or you can use a fine mesh strainer. It takes time, but once you have clean seeds, you're golden. You can cook amaranth seeds like rice. Use about 2.5 cups of water for every 1 cup of seeds. Bring it to a boil, then simmer for about 20 minutes. They'll get soft but not mushy, kind of like a tiny grain. Some people mix them with other grains, some people use them in porridge. And yes, you can pop them like popcorn. Put them in a hot, dry pan and they'll pop. They're tiny, like the size of a poppy seed, but it's a fun snack. Okay, this is the part everyone skips, and that's a mistake. If you're going to forage any wild plant, you need to know the risks. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to keep you safe. First rule, do not harvest amaranth from areas that have been sprayed with herbicides or pesticides. Roadsides, public parks, farms, anywhere chemicals might have been used. You don't know what's on those plants, and you don't want to eat it. Stick to your own yard or areas you know are clean. Second, amaranth leaves contain oxalates. So, do spinach, chard, beet greens, and a bunch of other plants we eat all the time. Oxalates can interfere with calcium absorption and can contribute to kidney stones in people who are sensitive. That's why you don't want to eat raw amaranth leaves in large amounts. Cooking reduces the oxalate content, and rotating your greens helps too. Don't eat amaranth every single day for weeks on end. Mix it up with other greens. If you have a history of kidney stones or kidney problems, talk to your doctor before adding high oxalate foods to your diet. I'm not a doctor, I'm just a person who grows plants and eats them. You know your body better than I do. Also, some people are allergic to amaranth. It's rare, but it happens. If you're trying it for the first time, start with a small amount and see how you feel. That's just common sense. And one more thing, make sure you're identifying the plant correctly. There are a lot of plants out there and some of them look similar. If you're not sure, don't eat it. Get a good field guide, use a plant identification app, ask someone who knows. Better safe than sorry. Let's talk about the legal stuff because I've seen people freak out about this online, and it's not as scary as it sounds. Yes, some species of amaranth are on noxious weed lists in certain states. Palmer amaranth especially is listed in a bunch of states across the South and Midwest. But here's what that actually means. Those laws are aimed at farmers and landowners. They're designed to stop the spread of aggressive weeds that hurt agriculture. They're not designed to arrest you for picking greens in your backyard. The laws usually say something like landowners must take steps to control noxious weeds on their property, or it's illegal to sell or transport seeds of noxious weeds. They're not saying you can't forage a plant for personal use. Nobody is gonna knock on your door because you picked some amaranth leaves off a plant growing in an empty lot. Now, if you're planning to start an amaranth farm and sell it at the farmer's market, yeah, you might want to check your local laws. If you're in a state where it's listed as noxious, there could be restrictions on cultivating it intentionally, but foraging for personal use? You're fine. And just to be clear, I'm not a lawyer. If you have specific legal questions, you can look up your state's noxious weed list online or call your local agricultural extension office. They'll give you the real answer for your area. But in general, nobody cares if you're eating a plant that's already growing wild. They care if you're spreading it to places where it's going to cause problems for farmers. Use your common sense. Don't trespass on private property to harvest plants. Don't dig up plants from protected areas. Don't sell wild harvested seeds without checking the rules first. But picking leaves for dinner, you're good. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Amaranth isn't some hidden secret that the government doesn't want you to know about. It's not magic. It's just a plant that used to be food and now it's considered a problem. But the reason it's a problem is because it's tough, it's resilient, and it grows where nothing else will. Sometimes the most valuable plants aren't hidden. They're just misunderstood. We stopped eating amaranth because agriculture changed, because we started growing food in a different way, and because calling something pigweed doesn't exactly make people want to try it. But the plant didn't change. It's still the same plant the Aztecs relied on. It's still growing the same way it always has. If you have some growing in your yard, maybe don't pull it out this weekend. Maybe try cooking the leaves instead. Maybe save some seeds and see what you think. Or maybe just leave it there and let it do its thing. At the very least, now you know what it is. If you want more videos about plants that actually grow without babying them, hit that subscribe button. This channel isn't about hype or trends or miracle cures. It's about food security, practical skills, and working with nature instead of against it. I post new videos every day about plants you can grow, forage, or just stop killing. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. And if you try cooking amaranth, let me know how it goes in the comments. I actually want to know. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.